All right, click the link to join the channel. Here's your Sarah Silverman news for the day. The news that you probably didn't think you needed to know, but she's a crazy person, and I don't mean that as an exaggeration. I mean, I think she's actually not playing with the full deck. She got triggered recently by Kennedy's tweet, the candidate for office. But keep in mind that she's the same idiot that was triggered by street markings that show subsurface connections. They spray paint white paint on the street that later gets just washed away or whatever to tell the next person what's going on. So instead of just simply investigating and looking up the symbols on the street, which like you have a cell phone in your hand, it would just take you 30 seconds, which I assume that everybody knew about those symbols. They've got water, gas, sewage, storm drains, sometimes power under the streets. So they'll do X's and they'll tell you like, well, that's some kind of four-way connection. And they're telling the next guy the type of connection that he needs to get ready for or something. And Sarah, who's apparently neurotic, goes on Twitter and gets her panties in a bunch like the crazy cat lady she is. She thinks everybody is after her and posting secret symbols. Her and Chelsea Handler, they both got Trump derangement syndrome in 2016. There's a lot of people in Hollywood who I think Trump broke them. There's something about that election, those 4 years, that they're just not the same. They turned into bitter, weird people. So that was a few years ago, and she got roasted. And you would think that she would have learned a lesson to be a little bit more cautious and look before she leaves. You'd be wrong. So the other day, a candidate for president, who the DNC very much wishes would go the way of earlier Kennedys, because he's turning out to be a problem for Biden, because Biden's an 80-year-old dementia patient, and his VP is a rambling whore who people hate more than Biden, if that's possible. So Kennedy actually is a thorn in the side of the puppet masters, because Kennedy is less of a puppet than Biden. Biden doesn't know where he is half the time, which makes for a perfect American president. Anyway, so Kennedy was looking for a security detail because he is in extreme danger. Perhaps, like, you heard his last name, Kennedy. That should ring some bells for people. So he's in danger from left-wing whack jobs, but the Biden administration delays on answering his with their response. They're hoping that somebody handles the situation. They're probably calling Hillary Clinton to arrange it. So he asked for protection and published the letter to show that Biden is trying to get him Kennedy'd. And Sarah reads the numbers and think they're code words. Keep in mind that the ADL lists dozens of code numbers that they think are dog whistles, because the ADL is also made up of literally insane people who see signs everywhere. So Sarah's argument is that a presidential candidate is publicly posting a 4chan meme, which should have you scratching your head a little bit. And you would think like, well, let's follow that up with why? Why would he do that? Why? How would that possibly benefit him and his chances of getting elected? Because doesn't it seem more likely that most of his supporters are not into that? I mean, a child would do a risk-benefit analysis of this situation and realize how crazy Sarah's belief is. But she gets attention and is taken seriously because she's a celebrity. Of some note, though, you look back at her stand-up comedy from earlier years, really not that funny. The thing about her is she was skinny, she had really big milkers, and she was saying outrageous stuff while she was kind of shaking the milkers around on stage, and that went a long way for people. So just to complete the Sarah Silverman news, she was also outraged over actors who are on strike, but they're still making independent movies, which was one of the SAG provisions. That's literally what the union signed up for, so that some people can still get a little work and it doesn't affect the strike any. The indie films are not the issue. That's why SAG has that provision. But Sarah thought they were scabs, when all she had to, she's still a big name celebrity. All she has to do is call up SAG and have them explain it to her. She'd call up Fran Drescher herself if she wants. Instead, she goes on Twitter and acts like the mentally ill cat lady she is, until people have to repeatedly explain to her because she is actually crazy. Anyway, so that was your Sarah Silverman news for the day. Like, I wish I could take back that 4 minutes. Well, unfortunately, you can't. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys on the next episode.